On the other side of the Continental Divide, another city turns to CDM to help define its future. The City of Los Angeles' wastewater treatment system currently serves over 4 million people. Fed by more than 6,500 miles of sewer pipelines, LA's wastewater treatment and reclamation plants are capable of processing up to 550 million gallons of flow a day.
You know, if you think of the way we developed urban infrastructure in the past, we pretty much divided up the responsibility for water, wastewater, and stormwater among different agencies that looked at their jobs as functionally trying to bring water to an urban environment, take wastewater away from an urban environment, move stormwater out of the urban environment as rapidly as you could move it.
Los Angeles' rapid population growth continues to push the limits of the city's water resources. Water is indeed a precious commodity in the City of Angels.
That means that we can't look at these functions as independent, separate functions. We've got to look at the water resource cycle as being one integrated process. It means that wastewater effluent that we would in the past have thought of disposing of is a new source of water.
In 1999, CDM began helping the city develop a set of policy recommendations to guide facilities planning and better manage LA's wastewater as part of its overall water, sewer, and stormwater management needs. This policy-making effort was the first phase of an ongoing program referred to as the Integrated Resources Plan, or the IRP for short.
Integrated resource planning is a term which it probably doesn't tell you much when you first hear it, but it is a really significant change in the way we're developing infrastructure in urban environments.
The IRP has proven to be a breakthrough process in opening up the lines of communications and understanding among city departments, organizations, and individuals that had occasionally found themselves working at cross purposes.
If we can build multi-purpose projects, we can suddenly bring together funding from multiple sources and make things happen that might not otherwise happen if they had to be funded by a single entity.
CDM championed a comprehensive public outreach effort to encourage participation and input into the process.
You know, without this plan and without our involvement, this could have been just like every other plan, where a document is done and the city works towards preparing that document. It's a good document, technically sound, and then at the time you're ready to implement it, you have public concerns and problems and litigation even. And so, you know, through this process, you're avoiding that.
Over 1,100 organizations, agencies, institutions, and individuals were enlisted.
You have a department that are working together, you have elected officials who are supporting, and you have public stakeholders who feel like they drove where this is going.
When one of the stakeholders said, well, I'm really pleased to see that this consultant had a pencil with an eraser on it, because we had to go back and change some things as a consequence of their input.
CDM and the city felt the wastewater program development process needed to capture the ideas, experiences, and opinions of not only city departments and experts, but LA's residents and customers as well.
We wanted the citizens to be truly invested in this, because ultimately we had to go to the citizens to raise bond monies. And our stakeholders educated our community, and we overwhelmingly passed a bond measure for stormwater. Without the IRP, I don't think that would have happened.
The city expects the benefits will be profound. Preferred solutions emphasize water reclamation and the community's very strong desire to not only clean up urban runoff and stormwater, but also to beneficially use this resource locally and regionally. Finally, the solutions emphasize maximizing use of the city's existing wastewater treatment plants and reducing the need for any new treatment plants in the foreseeable future.
Okay, whether it's a wastewater treatment facility, an airport, a port, you cannot just have tunnel vision. You have to look and plan for the broader community.
Looking towards the future, CDM consultants, environmental experts, and community members met at the University of Southern California recently to brainstorm ideas regarding how the process used in the IRP can be applied to other urban growth issues in Los Angeles.
I think some of the biggest challenges for Los Angeles with regard to the environment is definitely the fact that we are importing more than 50% of our water.
It could be a clean droplet of water coming from a melted glacier, or it could be the wastewater entering a wastewater treatment facility. It's still a droplet of water, and it's a resource that's valuable to the community.
Why do we not think about our everyday communities as places where there's underground water and there's water that could be at the surface that could support trees and habitat and places for kids to play and exercise and live actually a healthier lifestyle?
Which is where transportation comes in, and why that's becoming such a huge issue for LA, is how to just move the resources in and out of LA, and we as engineers have to look at how can we do that effectively without creating greater environmental impacts.
Once again, when we're thinking about sustainability, you're not going to widen your freeways anymore. The cities have grown right up to the freeways. To widen them or to double deck them is cost prohibitive. We've done the analysis, that doesn't work. But public transportation is going to have to grow. That's the only way that we're going to be able to sustain a level of mobility that we're accustomed to.
I think one of the biggest benefits that CDM can bring is that we are not only superior in our technical ability and our creative technical solutions, we are also able to do two other things. We can facilitate the discussion and the involvement with the stakeholders in the community and bring in their input, which is critical to addressing all of these types of issues. But we're also that bridge with the multiple agencies that are involved.
Can I pick up on this issue of creativity? Because I really am thinking that as problem solvers, as creative problem solvers, this is the business we're in. I mean, it's not our job as CDM to go into a community and point out everything that's wrong and try to describe how bad things are. I mean, I think what motivates people to work for the firm is that our job is to take all this talent and all this imagination and all this education and all this creativity and create a better world.
CDM's bold approach of partnering the public with resource experts and the city at the start of this process is fostering new levels of trust and the strong foundation needed for the hard work ahead.